But yeah, everything is fucking for sure until it's not.
I heard this argument recently, and he brought it up. The argument by Steakums. Do you remember hearing about that?
Steakums?
Steakums.
No, I don't know.
Steakums was giving him mad shit on Twitter. Steakums like the fake meat finger things that are frozen that you eat when you're 7.
Oh.
In the cafeteria.
Those
Steakums.
Like steak fingers.
Yeah. And basically, I don't know, he made some comment about the scientific enterprise. I forgot even what his comment was, but it was enough for Steakums to come back at Neil deGrasse because they had a lot else going on that day. And it's really just their social media presence, right? It's not their actual CEO, I would assume.
Yeah.
It's whatever, 22-year-old sits on Twitter all day to monitor the Steakums account.
Yeah.
But they were like, look, science at one time thought the earth was flat. That sounds like a good point on its face. Mm-hmm. But Neil deGrasse described why it's not. You don't get true science until about the year 1600. So like after the beginning of the 17th century. Because the scientific revolution was sometime in the 1500s, I guess, 16th century. But it wasn't widely ascribed until much later. Most people were still idiots.
Yeah.
But his point was, yes, people said that before, but it wasn't like a true scientific hypothesis. It was just people that were guessing at how things worked. And they didn't have the tools and methods of modern science. But I took his point. Like, I agreed with what he said. Like, science, it can get things wrong, but that's what makes it good. It's like a self-correcting enterprise.
Yeah. What I don't like is just that he maybe his attitude. The like, I know, I am the science guy. Like
he's a science guy. He's not the science guy.
Yeah, that's Bill Nye.
That's Bill.
Right. But just the fucking arrogance, man.
I hate that. Man.
I did not enjoy that.
I hate that.
Well, he doesn't have to be dismissive. It's like, dude, pilots are seeing shit. They're not all fucking crazy.
Sure. It reminds me, though, of me telling you about that physics dude. I don't know if I said it on here, if we just were talking about it. But the guy that's like sitting on his couch and comes up with some new, way to travel, like some way to power a spaceship through some gravitational force or something.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know anything about physics, and I don't know that much about physics, but this guy knew enough to say it's impossible. Like you cannot make a propulsion system out of what this person is describing. So he just writes it off immediately. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's arrogance or just... Well, it's different in this case, right?
This is like, I'm just going to dismiss any anecdote because I don't think that's possible.
You think he dismissed them all? I guess I need to re-listen to...
That's sort of how he
came off.
Like he's saying, why isn't anyone live streaming these things when they see them?
Yeah.
It's like, why doesn't that happen? It's like, who knows, man? They want to record it. They're not like, okay, open Facebook, open YouTube, whatever. Go to live stream. Maybe they don't want to live stream shit. But and the Nimitz and shit, the videos that we do have of that are radar. They're not video.
Yeah. Does that make them more suspect? Because we're not actually capturing
radar. I mean,
these
these pilots aren't holding their fucking cell phones up. They're
right.
just watching it.
Yeah.
And it's picking up on the radar.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
That could be could be an instrumentation issue, man. They got something.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're not seeing it with their eyes.
My goal, man, in these discussions is never to just try to blanketly explain away whatever it is. But you got to rule out a lot of shit before you get to, well, that's just something from another planet that we don't know about.
I'm not saying it's from another planet.
No. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying that's a lot of people just jump to the most extreme hypothesis.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's these fucking creatures that we've never even heard of. And, oh, by the way, they also created humans. You know what I mean? Like, they've been here before. You don't even know what I know. That's what loses. That's what loses me. The you don't even know what I know guy.
Dude, I've watched all the videos on this, and I know.
I've listened to like a lot of things, and you don't even know what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, open that email I sent you.
Yeah. That's the guy that
I understand that.
that loses me. Yeah, and Neil is loud and he cuts people off, and I could see how you could think he's a bit arrogant, man. I like the dude, but I'm not.
I like the dude too.
Yeah, I'm not
It
tied
was
to
just that particular discussion. I didn't like his take on it.
I'm not tied to any human that hard, you know.
Yeah, we've learned our lessons.
Yeah. We both have.
That's right.
I gotta stay right here on this mic, man. I've learned that, and this makes it better.
Okay.
Just block your face the whole time, and get your mustache out of the way.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Neil.
I know, man.
His
I like him, but I see how you.
I just want him to have an open mind. Don't dismiss fucking every pilot who has something to say. Like, they've been up there and he has not.
I think he pointed out a lot of things. He talked about a lot. He might have even mentioned instrumentation. I don't know.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
But I think he wasn't just trying to brush it off. I think he was trying to go through it, but he definitely, I see how you could take that.
And when Elon talked about the same shit,
he did the same thing?
Yes. Like, don't you think I would know?
Maybe they didn't know, and they
Like,
just don't want you to know. You know what I mean?
I know that's the crazy way to think, but is it that fucking crazy to believe that some people do know things that we don't?
Well, it's just
Like, they're privy to certain information. It's like
it's
you
like
keep this shit to yourself.
it's with any conspiracy, man. Like the fucking moon landings, a good example of when it would just take a massive amount of people, a massive amount of human beings to cooperate and just say, we're never going to talk about this. Like, it's never going to be a thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, anyone who does talk about certain things, and I'm not talking about the moon landing, but people who do try to talk about this shit, they're immediately fucking demonized and made out to be some crazy motherfucker who's full of shit. So you can't come out and say something that's out of the ordinary, or you're fucking crazy.
You got to have
You got to have
good proof.
real hard evidence.
Yeah, you got to have some real evidence, yeah.
Yeah, and a video isn't good enough.
Well, I guess it would depend on the video, but yeah.
Dude, I mean, I can live stream a pretty convincing fake UFO.
Well, yeah, it had to be good quality, undoctored shit. Yeah, we can't brush off.
We just dismiss everything as a society.
We can't believe everything either.
I don't.
There's a line
I don't,
there.
but we should be able to have these discussions and actually take them seriously. But, dude, I watch this one dude who live streams on YouTube. He does it every day. He's streaming about AMC and GameStop, watching the market.
Word.
And it fucking helps me because I can't stare at it all day. I can listen to him. But he interviewed this one lady. I can look her name up, but he interviewed her, and she was talking about all this manipulation and shit of the stock market, and saying like there are people who have this ability to control it. Like, this is their fucking game, and that is true. This lady's speaking from experience, and in the comments below, people were like, fucking get her off of here, QAnon, like throwing out all this crazy shit because they didn't like what this lady was saying. She was basically saying, like, I get that retail investors want a fair market, but you have no chance in this fight at changing
Yeah.
what's already in place.
Well, that doesn't seem unreasonable.
It's
to
not
me.
unreasonable.
Yeah.
But she's saying, like, these people are in control. Even though it's wrong, you're not going to change it.
Yeah.
And
Well-
they were saying, like, come on.
Well, no, it doesn't. To me, it's all about. Is the correct phrase market power? Like how much capital you have to.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, it's a capital thing, but you're talking about the stock market.
Like to throw your fucking foot on the scale.
These market makers, they're able to trade in a certain way, and there's this thing called short laddering, where like let's say there are two hedge funds. If these two hedge funds are like it's in their best interest that this price goes down, they buy and sell the same chunks of shares back and forth for like a cent lower, and that drives the price down.
Yeah.
And they do it. And we've got high frequency trading, which is like algorithmic fucking just shit doing it. Like if you had a robot. It is exactly, it's fucking AI.
Yeah.
Like Lex Friedman could probably kill the fucking stock market if that was what he wanted to do. Like this is.
Wouldn't that be the? I'm derailing a bit, but wouldn't that be the perfect use of AI to manipulate markets?
Oh yeah, that would be. It'd be great, but they're not. It shouldn't work that way.
Yeah.
And,
how should it work?
I shouldn't be able to drive a price down and then profit off of that.
Should it be?
It should be based on
the
fundamental
value
shit.
of the company.
That
and
would make sense.
Yeah.
But it turns out stocks have nothing to do with
All
that.
right, man.
It's insane. It's like perceived value is all the stock value is.
Well,
what do we agree it's worth?
Yeah, that's
what makes it worth that.
Exactly what crypto is, right? But I guess most of the market functions in a similar way.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just what do we agree it's worth?
It is weird that some companies not worth that much have stocks worth an ungodly amount and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or companies that aren't even really companies that don't have actual products. They still somehow have ridiculous stocks and stock prices and
it's weird.
And
like
companies with real products have stocks that are $3, $3 a share
right.
for some massive corporation.
Yeah, dude,
I don't understand it, man.
It doesn't make sense.
How's
at all.
Ford been like $10 a share forever? How many Fords are on the fucking road? It baffles me, man. Yeah,
me too. So
and
I don't know what a fair fight would even look like.
Like comparable vaccine companies.
Mm-hmm.
One vaccine is several thousand. One is a couple $100. Like,
yeah, that is weird.
Where the fuck, I don't know. I guess you'd have to take.
I guess it depends on what else they've got.
Right, you'd have to take in consideration dick pills.
Right.
Yeah.
And Johnson & Johnson doesn't have that.
Yeah, and Pfizer. Pfizer does.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard dicks.
All right. Excellent, dude. Yeah.
What are we fucking talking about? Conspiracy theories.
And the stock market.
Well, yeah, I brought that up because people immediately will fucking dismiss something they don't want to hear and make it out to be like a crazy QAnon lady. It's like she's just saying these, call them what you want, but they are elites and they are in control. Like, this is their fucking game.
Yeah, I view that as...
We're just here.
Totally plausible. Like, it doesn't seem like a stretch for me.
The money is in control. It makes sense. Like, who the fuck do I want to have my back? This guy who can actually fund what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Or a bunch of fucking nobodies?
Yeah.
I want the money man on my back.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it makes perfect sense, man.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you win at the stock market, though, man?
How do you win? Man, I don't know. There so many, like, changes have been made like as far as policies and
Yeah.
fucking regulations, but we've had like naked shorting, which is the big fucking deal with the whole GameStop and AMC thing.
Yeah.
Naked shorts, which is selling stocks that don't exist into the market.
Gotcha.
Fuck.
You got it, man.
All right, where was
I
I?
have faith in you. Naked shorting.
Yeah. Okay, it's
nu-
been illegal
Nudity.
since 2008, but that hasn't prevented it at all because
really?
it's such an impossible thing to find.
Wow.
Like if
That's why it
doesn't-
was such a big deal for them to crack down on these Reddit forums, or like because they kind of found them in the act of doing the thing they shouldn't
Yeah,
be
well,
doing.
they've brought it to light more.
Okay.
And like they got together, enough nobodies got together that they, like whatever, or we've got enough money all together
Yeah.
to actually like fight back against the shit that they're trying to force.
Is
like
there-
I can drive this company into the ground because I've got all this money.
Is there any new regulation that is passed because of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, there have been several new.
Really? Okay.
But the point I was trying to make with the whole being illegal since 2008 is they don't fucking do shit about it. Yeah, it's illegal, but nothing's happened.
Yeah.
So it's hard to have much faith in. Yeah, we've got these new rules, and that makes people feel happy. It's like, all right, they're doing something,
Yeah.
but
Well,
fuck
does
are they
it
doing?
protect? Who do the new rules protect? Does it prevent people from pulling that same stunt again?
No, they just penalize them
Oh,
if they do
okay.
it. But one thing that I wonder about, because I know they're penalized if they're caught naked shorting, like they're fined. But I don't know if they're actually forced to cover those naked shorts at that point. Like, hey, these shares don't even exist. Do they just disappear at that point? Because they're supposed to be forced to buy those back, whether they exist or not.
The short you're referring to, though, this penalty, this would fall on these Reddit forum guys, though. This wouldn't fall on major corporations.
The penalties fall on the major corporations.
Oh, okay.
They're the ones who are trying to short companies into the ground.
Oh, okay. The Reddit people were trying to expose them in some way, or
Yeah,
just
and to resist. Like, all our money together provides resistance to these short ladder attacks on the stock.
Reddit, how obvious is it to detect when a major hedge fund or corporation or whoever is attempting a short? Like, how do you know? Is that public information?
Yeah, some of
Or
it
they just
is
say it?
reported. You can see shares that have been loaned.
And like levied against certain.
Right. It won't
Stocks.
show like yeah. You can check the short interest on any individual stock, and it'll say like this many shares have been loaned out today.
Yeah.
And a loaned share is the type of share you can sell.
So the problem isn't the little guy; it was the big
Right.
people.
It's the big people.
Okay.
And-
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
Doug is going to jizz in his pants from this episode, man.
hopefully he can give us a little more feedback.
Oh, I
I'm
bet it-
far from an
I
expert
bet
on
he
any of
fucking
this
knows.
shit.
I bet he knows. Well, I'm quite ignorant. So
Yeah, I mean, I try to be less ignorant in this shit, but I don't get a lot of it. I mean, I'm constantly learning more about it, but
yeah.
I can't keep up.
Doug, leave a comment below, man.
He
Tell us-
always does.
Yeah.
Doug's there with us.
Tell us about the stock market. Oh, by the way, I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Kai's back. Woo!
back from the desert with this sweet stash.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get a close up
Rocking that big broom.
of that one. But
yeah,
yeah,
we'll
30
Put it up close.
30 days in the desert, and the Mojave Desert. It is such a desolate fucking wasteland.
Yeah.
We were going to try not to cuss.
That's
but,
right. I know, but I've been letting them fly.
Yeah,
and
it's just so easy, man.
it's just
so easy.
our simple language.
Yeah, vocabulary is limited. So
Vocabulary.
it literally is, man. Like, I guess I don't have to go through it all, but just you arrive in the desert on a bus with a bunch of people, with a bunch of shit, and you stay there. You live there. There's nothing there, and they're like, this looks like a good spot, and you just start living there.
Well, they're just trying to torture you anyway, right?
Like, it's about
Give you a taste of what it would be like.
this training event and others like it are about a large military entity attempting to survive in an austere environment and keep people alive and also accomplish missions in the real world, like whatever they need to do in that area, whether it's murder people or just have a presence,
Right.
like a military presence there.
Being in that heat, does it like fuck with your ability to
Oh, man.
think and process the actual shit that you run into?
Yeah, so there were times, the way it used to work was you arrived at this place called the Ruba. Sounds nice. It's not. It's not that great. It at least was like hard standing structures that you lived in. They all had dirt floors, or at least that's what I remember. This time they actually had, it was like AstroTurf, like they attempted to do something with it. That was nice.
Fancy.
But they're like just hard tents, but they're solid enough where they can put a big AC unit on the outside of it and pump it in, which is nice.
Yeah.
You know. But you used to get there in this little area called the Ruba, and you would slowly draw all the equipment that you needed to go to the field with. Fucking tanks, vehicles, whatever you needed, or just shit out of Connexes. Like we had to, Connexes being like the large rectangular
Storage container?
yeah, that you see on fucking trains, you know, and in shipping yards. Those are Connexes. But they're full of equipment. We had to draw a bunch of medical equipment this time, so that was a big priority. You got to have like IVs and shit, like all our fluids and tubing, and everything was on those Connexes.
Yeah.
So you would arrive to this area, and you'd start drawing equipment, and within about 4 or 5 days, then you had all your shit consolidated. You would go to the field and set up your AO, your area of operations, and start running missions, whatever it was, supply missions, or if you're, a line unit, you would start sending groups forward with weapons to assault a fake enemy.
Nice.
Like that's what you were preparing to do.
Right.
This time with COVID and everything else, there was no Ruba time on the front end, because what would happen is you have one unit coming into this area and one unit getting ready to leave. So like this unit is getting the fuck out, this unit's coming in. So they interact, right? They intertwine.
Right.
So you have two units from two different areas of the United States, and they're like, COVID, that can't happen, you know?
Yeah.
So what happened was there was no time at the Ruba. And at the Ruba, other than like, yeah, you got to draw equipment during the day, it's not incredibly taxing. You get to take showers, even though they're gang showers and everyone can see your thing.
Your thing?
Your thing-a-ling.
Dang it.
Yeah, no one really cares. Like
I know.
I just look at the ceiling. Like I brush my dick into people. I don't even realize it. No, I'm kidding. But
Excuse me.
Yeah, my bad.
Just gonna borrow your shower head.
Yeah, things just hit my knees, and I don't even know what it is, man. I just keep looking up. But yeah, you actually have showers, and there's a PX. Like there's a place where you can get whatever supplies you didn't already get before you came out there, and it is miserable, but it's not as miserable.
Yeah.
But you also have time to acclimate. You're like in this shitty desert air at 115 degrees, but you're not just fucking dying every day.
Yeah.
You're you do a little bit and then you rest. You get to go to the AC. So it's not all bad. This time they just put you out there. So you're drawing equipment from the desert. So you're having to put together a convoy of like whatever vehicles. So I guess you're close enough to the Ruba where you can draw a few vehicles to start getting equipment. But you start drawing equipment from the desert. So you're like not showering from day one. And then you have like a few days of drawing equipment, and then the war games start. And then you start, hearing mortars and shit at night, and, you get woken up to small arms fire. It's all blanks, but they're like, all right, you're about to have, injured people showing up. Fucking hop to it. And you have to get up and put your shit on. And like for us, we were at an aid station, so we had to be prepared to accept casualties. So it was kind of cool because we're like, my bed was 10 yards from our aid station, like my cot in the desert under this giant camo net thing. So I just literally had to wake up and, put on shoes and pants.
Scoot over to work.
Yeah. And just mosey over, and we're ready. And we're just ready, and it's set up. Like you have trauma curtains and all the supplies you need, like right there by these two little litters, which are, shitty military litters. It's not like a real patient bed, but it suffices.
Yeah.
But, and you do that for 3 fucking weeks. But in between that, you also have real patients. And within the first few hours of being there, or the first few days, especially that first day of actually going to the Connex yard where there's no shade because nothing's set up. So you're just in the 115-degree weather with and limited water sources. Like people were asking, like, where's the water? Like there's no identifiable place to get water. MREs are scarce. Like no one has real food yet. They're like, when did you eat last, man? Like, go find a fucking MRE. It was just, it felt very poorly planned, and you have to get equipment to make shit happen. So people were in this fucking hot ass Connex yard. Even in the Connexes, it's no no comfort because it's a fucking sweat box.
It's a can.
Yeah. You just die even more just without direct sunlight. You can't breathe in them. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. So you slowly draw equipment, and people just within hours of day 2, people were like fucking going down. And I remember my medics like running over to someone because someone called them over, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is starting.
Yeah, dude, I wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Really.
So, and you're like, as a medical personnel, like when I saw my guys fucking moving, I was like, I need to fucking move. Normally, the medics, they're the first ones there. They bring them to you. Mm-hmm. Is how it normally goes. But I'm fucking young. I can hang. I can do all that shit.
Yeah.
So I would
Throw a
run
body
there.
over your shoulder.
Yeah, run there as well. I could be physically helpful as well. There were times, like especially in those first couple days, where I got this heavy feeling in my chest, and just kind of had to slow down. And I was like, then I realized afterwards, like probably how close I was to going down, but I just fucking mustered up. I don't know. I was good enough to make it through that. And I stayed hydrated. Like I'm pretty smart about, I was taking in some electrolytes, I had shit with me.
Yeah.
I brought liquid IVs.
Nice.
So I was pounding those and vitamin packs and shit. So I was getting things that probably most of them were not.
Definitely.
Because I had resources to expend. But
so did they all have the option of bringing stuff? Did everyone have the option?
Everyone had the option to bring things.
Huh.
Very few people do. Most of the people, all they bring is like a few pairs of clothes and like some of them don't brush their teeth while they're out there, dude. Like it is unbelievable, man. Some of them wore, like you got to change your socks and T-shirts and underwear every so often. I did every 2 days, which was actually like an incredible pace. There's people that made fucking underwear last a week out there and socks and shit. I saw some gnarly feet.
That is fucking disgusting.
Gnarly feet. Gnarly heat rash. Like I've had bad heat rash, never seen anything like this, dude. Like every inch of their body was just a fucking clogged sweat pore. Just and it hurts, dude. Like it's ungodly how bad that hurts. But ooh,
What's it feel like?
what
Heat
what
rash.
did that feel like? That felt amazing. But it feels like, so it is incredibly painful and itchy. It's kind of like, I guess the best description would be that in-between sunburn feeling where you're, like you have a terrible sunburn and it's starting to itch.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it's worse than that. Like that's a bad feeling. That is like I've been pretty close to suicide on some of my fucking sunburn issues. But the heat rash, anything that touches you, you want to die. Like it hurts to wear a shirt. It's probably like a more mild form of fucking shingles.
Okay.
Is what it feels like. But just everywhere. Your whole back is like that.
Right.
Nothing can touch it. Nothing really helps. They say use it like ice. The big thing is just get yourself clean, which is hard in that environment. Like your pores are literally clogged with shit and bacteria. That's what's causing the pain.
Nice.
It's like full body pimples, but they don't develop pustules, but they do ooze, like
Gross.
clear shit.
Nice.
And it hardens to your clothes, and it feels awful when you try to take your shirt off and it's stuck to your body. The nickname for it is prickly heat. But I avoided it this time because I stayed really clean. But there are people that made their outer shell uniform, like their regular, like the camouflage shit that you see people in the Army wear. There are people that made that last pretty much the entire time they were there. Like they wore the same outer uniform.
So it was
Hardened.
yeah,
Just
crunchy sweat.
you couldn't even tell it was camouflage by the end. It was just all
like-
brown. Yeah.
Oh,
like just all one color.
Good.
Yeah. It was amazing. But a lot of those guys, man, I was living in luxury. Although I was in the field and I'm in the same shitty desert environment.
Yeah.
Most of those guys are in a tank for 3 weeks.
Okay.
In a tank shooting fake rounds at a fake enemy and having to eat a few times a day.
Just dripping.
And they don't even, they rarely. But then there's also, infantry unit. There's not a lot of what's called dismounted operations, like people on foot doing shit. There's some, but we're an ABCT, an Armored Brigade Combat Team.
Okay.
So most of it is track vehicles, which is tanks, and more fucking tanks.
And they ain't got no AC in them bitches?
I think they do, but most of them, half of them don't fucking work. Most of the vehicle ACs, it doesn't work. And they also, these line units, man, they have, we have nighttime operations, meaning if something happens at night, we have to respond. It's 24-hour operations, but the nights were much more calm than the day because people weren't just passing out.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of these maneuver units, like these fucking tank battalions, they're doing shit all night some nights. And they don't stop, and they're just in a fucking sweat box for 3 weeks, man.
It's really fucking nasty. It
Yeah.
it seems inhumane.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
why
is.
the fuck are we doing this?
We sign up for it, man.
Right.
It's it's
But
to
what is the purpose?
to stay good with tanks. I don't know. So we know how to operate them.
Yeah.
God,
God.
you'd be surprised, man. Trey's got a point about a couple things. I don't know how to drive a tank. I bet I could learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. They're giant vehicles. They weigh tons and tons.
30 of them.
It's not that hard, I don't think it's that much harder than driving a Volkswagen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's. I'm sure you could learn, and I'm sure firing it is there's probably a button that says fire.
Yeah, but you got to be able to load that round.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I really feel like it's probably best to keep your people in good condition, keep their health where it needs to be.
I agree.
like if you're gonna train them on some shit or make them practice some shit, let them be comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
That
It's
way,
just-
when they do face like adversity out there, they've drilled that shit in conditions where it'll actually stay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it seems like, and I'm not a fucking general, I don't really know, but it seems like a lot of the things we do in these training events have been null and void probably since before Vietnam. Like the last time we successfully used like tank operation, maybe the Gulf War, but that war was over in like 15 days or something. Like it wasn't a long-term war, right?
Yeah.
I think we had all the pieces staged, but we really didn't. It was just like, hey, we're here. Like we just had to have them there. I don't think we really had to use a lot. Like I think we got what we wanted mostly from like small arms fire. Well, I think we might have encountered some other. Oh yeah. If I'm not mistaken, was Iran involved in that conflict too?
Dude, I don't know.
And I think they were. I'm probably. Yeah, I mean, we have Google. Who gives a fuck?
Google.
This is Google. You know what I mean?
That's right. Let's have a conversation. Who needs fact check?
Let's conversate. Yeah.
You know that is a word.
I know, and it's such a shitty word.
Oh, my
Such
God,
a shitty word.
dude.
But I think the Iranians, and I don't think they were the only ones involved, but I think they had a ton of tanks that were horseshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like horseshit. And we just destroyed them. Whatever tanks they had, it wasn't even
good.
fair.
Maybe they thought they could just intimidate with them.
Yeah.
Or they got some old, like some salvaged ones, like
Yeah.
someone left behind.
Yeah. Just threw a
like-
few parts on them.
Yeah.
Apparently, they were just
Put some new hubcaps
totally
on.
ineffective. They might as well have had an army of Volkswagens
Cool.
against our tanks because it just didn't go well. But I feel like, although we kind of had a show of force in that war, I don't know how valid our current tactics and training is. I just don't think wars, like think about where we are now with fucking drone warfare, and it's the need for human-powered anything, you know, is and especially like troops running at each other with fucking rifles in their hand.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the Army, and I don't disagree with it. Sometimes the Army has to train things to justify us having a fucking army. Like, we just have to do things to say, like, and to stay competent.
Yeah.
Just to,
I mean, there is always a chance that
Yeah.
some lesser group of people,
Sure.
lesser military, is going to come after us, and
And
they're not
we-
going to have drones
yeah,
and shit.
and we could just fuck them up with our tanks and everything. But it is so much less likely that we would go to a war like that, into a war like that with like a Russia or a China.
Oh God.
It could happen, but it's just, I don't know, man. It's a bit outdated, but I view it as a lot. I think a lot of jobs are just there to exist. Does that make sense? Like they're just,
Oh yeah.
like the end justifies the means. Like they really, their purpose is to pretend like they're something.
yeah.
And they just keep
Well,
existing.
Like what a fucking I've heard Joe talk about.
Yeah.
The like the money they spend in California on homelessness, like the people who get paid, like
Yeah.
their job is to find a
be
way
hom-
to deal with homelessness,
Oh, okay.
and they don't do shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they don't do anything about
Yeah.
that issue.
Sure.
But all this money's thrown at that problem.
Yeah. And it just continues to be
A problem.
a problem.
It doesn't go away.
Yeah.
When they could like build shit. They don't have to hire a ton of people to. And he even went over their salaries and shit.
Oh,
and they're
wow.
making a ton of money.
Wow.
And it's not fucking necessary.
Yeah.
You could spend less than what they're spending
Yeah.
and build facilities for homeless
Well,
people. They don't have to. Like, I know shelters aren't cool,
Yeah.
but some people just aren't gonna do shit.
Well, dude, you know the answer to the problem.
Euthanize them?
I was going to say Caitlyn Jenner. You know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? Caitlyn Jenner and Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
And universal basic income.
Yeah. Oh my
and
God.
force them to use that money on a place to stay.
Yeah.
Because you can't just throw money at them and expect them to do the smart thing with it.
Yeah. That
Housing.
I think a conservative transgender person is the.
That's right.
Dude, I heard Tim talk about
Conservative,
that today.
transgendered, homophobic.
Today, Tim said, transgenders are real because there's conservative ones. That is
a fucking...
such a valid. He's like, I will jump all over the non-binaries as soon as there's a Republican, nominee that comes out as non-binary. Then I'll know it's real.
Right.
God damn.
That is fucking true.
Yeah. How does he sit around and come up with insights like that, man?
He's got a different mind, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful thinking.
Beautiful mind. Yeah, it should have been him instead of fucking Russell Crowe or who I don't even know who it was.
Was it him?
Probably. Or was that
I mix him
Gladiator.
and Kevin Spacey. It was one of those two.
Oh, those guys?
I mix them up for some reason. Like, I know their faces, but
yeah, it was
like that movie, A Beautiful Mind.
definitely Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, yeah. And Gladiator.
Yeah, that was also Russell Crowe.
All of them, yeah. But no, man. I think one of the things about the medical field is no matter who you're doing medicine for, and no matter what the overall mission is of the people you support, you're still doing medicine. It's still required.
Yeah.
Like, even, this isn't controversial at all, but like, although the Nazi doctors had their own issues and the types of experiments and things they were trying to conduct, but as far as like someone comes to them with an issue and they have to fix it, they should still help that person, right? If they're in fucking need, if there's something.
I would think so.
Yeah. So I think in my mind, like, medicine is even justified for the fucking worst among us. How many of the Nazis even thought they were bad? Like
I'm sure none.
Sure, they thought they were on the right side of the issue.
Yeah.
So it's something that ties into like medical job satisfaction. Like it's hard to think in doing medicine that that it doesn't have a purpose. Now you can have that to a lesser extent, like when you're in a different field of medicine, or in a certain field where you just feel like you're not as useful. Like emergency, physicians or providers, they keep people alive every day. Mm-hmm. And if they work in a fucking podunk ER and they don't see a lot, what they do see, some of it is probably run-of-the-mill bullshit. It probably acts more like an urgent care than a true ER, like a trauma ER.
Yeah.
But they can still see fucking heart attacks or whatever, or someone, comes in with a fucking, the crush injury and they can't move their legs. I mean, that shit can happen. Their job then is to try to get that fucking person out of there as quickly as possible, like to get them to a level 1 trauma center or the closest one. But yeah, medicine is, you can, I think I have that view now that even just doing my like day-to-day run-of-the-mill shit, I can still catch medical issues. Like I caught someone today that was recently diagnosed with bipolar and, stayed a week in an inpatient facility and
what was their name?
Yeah, that's let's see if I know them. I do remember their name, but I can't disclose that
information. We won't talk about that.
That's HIPAA. But no, like it's got its own justification. Even if some of our practices are a little antiquated, man, there's a lot of jobs that fall into that category. Like, why do we have this industry still? I don't know. Gotta have jobs.
That's right.
Gotta have jobs.
Gotta have jobs.
Or you're worthless.
Gotta keep them busy.
You're worthless.
Gotta keep them distracted.
Yeah. Andrew Yang says UBI, man. regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I got something, but what do you have, man? I just dominated that with military talk.
That's okay.
It was good and bad, pros and cons. I saw a lot of borderline, heat strokes, some damn near a heat stroke that were had fluctuant consciousness and were barely hanging in there, and some of them were probably close to justifying like a fucking chopper ride out. Like some of them were in pretty bad shape, but.
Yeah, dude, I could definitely see myself being one of those.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I have a hot job.
Yeah.
And I have to get the fuck out of the heat sometimes.
You got a hot job, dude.
I do.
Pretty hot.
It's
spicy.
It's real hot.
Yeah.
That's hot.
A lot of the people, though, fall into this, like, the military mentality of, like, I just got to do my job. And then they forget about, I haven't drank water in 6 hours. Like they just, they just keep doing their thing. And I've gotten pretty good because I'm so OCD. I wake up, I kind of do the same thing every morning. I take the same fucking liquid IV and multivitamins, and I'm like killing water. And I brought my own food. Yeah. It's because I had financial resources to do it. Most people just know the government's going to give them MREs. And when you bring food, it's extra weight. You have to move that shit around. You saw, like, on the way back how fucking heavy my bags were. And, like, I was a pretty heavy packer. Like, there were a lot of people there with 2 bags. I had 4.
Yeah, dude, you were loaded.
There were people there with 2 bags, like the big duffel and a ruck. Or a big duffel and a backpack.
Yeah, dude, I saw some very light packers. It's like, that does not look like enough.
Yep, they probably brought fucking 5 changes of clothes.
Yeah, and that's
for
it.
30 days. Yeah,
hey, I don't need deodorant. Everybody's gonna stink.
Oh man, it becomes an issue when you neglect yourself to a point. But I've gotten good at just doing all those small things, so then I can just focus on doing my job.
Yeah,
because I take care of myself. I know I'm not gonna fall out, except for that one day where I was like, I may die today, but I got to take care of these people first. But and some of it was just like I got to do actual medicine. I got to prescribe antibiotics for like bacterial GI infections, which are not that common. But if they go on past a certain amount of time and you don't think it's viral anymore and you don't think this person has suddenly developed some strange, IBS or IBD or some weird gastrointestinal issue, like out of the blue, if you think it's likely some type of infection, I hit them with antibiotics and it worked. Like I got to practice medicine.
Yeah.
I was like, let's try this antibiotic. This covers, gut bacteria. We're about to fucking flush your guts with antibiotics. And it worked. And I got to treat UTIs because,
God, yeah.
everything.
You did, man.
Yeah. Everything is, there's probably only about 10 or 15% females, but man, they got to be tough because it's hard to keep up male hygiene, yet alone an extra orifice,
Yeah.
Power to them, man. And some of them, like, they would just come to me and be like, yep, got a yeast infection. And it's one pill. It's a pill called fluconazole. I just fucking gave them the fluconazole, and that was it, man. And it's gone within a day.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, so there's that. And so I got to treat, GI infections and like external infections. I got to do sutures. I did some suture classes for my medics.
That's nice.
I got to do digital block classes and digital blocks like prior to suturing. I got to do different toenail procedures, something called a gutter splint for an ingrown toenail, where you don't actually remove the nail. You just put like a little piece of IV tubing in between the nail edge and the skin edge, and it's like a barrier. Mm-hmm. And you just clean the shit out of it. And it's pretty effective if you're not in a good environment to remove a toenail. And the field is not
you want to hold on to your toenails out there.
It's not the best. You can do it, but it's like, it's not a great environment.
It's going to get dirty as fuck.
And once I got back from the field, the box, they call it the box. It's the box. spend time in the box.
In heck.
In the box. In hell, yeah. But once I got back to the Troop Medical Center, the TMC, because everything has an acronym, I got to drain some really cool abscesses. Like, people were just like, yeah, I've had this for 3 weeks, and it's just grown, and it's like their inner thigh is just an area of fluctuance that fucking big.
Oh, God.
And they're so fun, man. And I had not done a lot of them on my own. This also gave me an excuse to just try shit.
Yeah.
Like, just like, I've got the license now.
Yeah.
We're fucking trying shit.
That's good.
And it's easy in practice.
Maybe it's more of an exercise for people in your type of position.
It definitely is, man. It definitely helped me in that way. Cause
Unfortunately, the other guys have to go down.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was definitely good for me to see real things in the real world. And even if it was an actual trauma, I still feel like I always err on the side of how am I not going to let this person die right now? Mm-hmm. And if you keep that in mind, even if I don't understand every aspect of what's going on in that moment, I'm like,
you know how to keep them not dead.
Sure. I'm like, if it is out of my scope in that environment, like if I don't have the capabilities to care for this human being with the bullshit equipment I have in the field, which is much more than you would think, but it's still not a lot. Because, like electricity is pretty hard to come by out there. Like, we had a generator, but we had to run it at certain times of the day, and it was mainly for lights. Like, we didn't run a lot of equipment off of a fucking generator. So,
do you have a defibrillator out there?
No.
AED?
You don't use AEDs in field medicine.
Why?
You can't diagnose them. You don't have a fucking EKG. Like, you just...
So you can't tell if their heart's not
Well,
beating?
it's really... It is weird. I find it weird. I'm sure the research points a certain way for a reason.
Yeah.
But... at a gym, you don't really, you just trust what the defibrillator says.
Yeah, I mean,
it says shock this person.
It determines whether or not it...
In the field, you don't do that. I think also because it's much less likely in a military population for the reason that this person is down right now is because they're having an active heart attack.
Yeah.
I
feel like the heat and all the added stress of the situation could trigger some bullshit. You know, not all these people have been taking the best care of themselves, I'm sure.
It's I think just statistically it's rare enough where they're like the...
If you go down, fuck you, man.
Well, no. you get them the fuck out of there. You call a chopper, whatever. You know what you do in a pulseless human in the field that is not breathing. So they're not breathing and they don't have a pulse. And you come across them. You don't have an AED.
Chest compression?
Mm-mm. You don't even do chest compressions in the field. It's just not something you do. I think it has to do with the likelihood of why they're in that state. It's either blunt trauma or penetrating trauma, like a stab or a gunshot or something.
Yeah.
You do a bilateral needle decompression. So in that instance, when the person's pulseless and they're not breathing, you assume that both of their lungs are collapsed. Okay. And you stab them in both sides of their chest with a needle.
Yeah, those big ones.
And evacuate the air. I have one. We can try it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Not this time.
That's the protocol. I would take one. I'd go, this person, nothing. I don't hear anything. No fucking chest rise. They are nothing right now. They have no pulse. They're not breathing. It'd probably be me and another person. If it's just me, I would do one and then the other. But if it's two people, we would each do one and evacuate the air. And if that doesn't work, we declare them dead, basically.
Good.
Like if that doesn't bring them around. But no, it was awesome, man. It was what I needed. I feel like I did gain a little confidence. I still feel like there's a lot of areas I'm incompetent, but it also gave me faith that I'm willing to just try things.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't just stand there and go, I don't know.
Right.
I'd be like, let's try this. I pulled a pot roast bone out of the back of someone's throat that was lodged in their posterior oropharynx. Like, I could see it barely. Like, it was almost in their esophagus. And that is actually a quick way to die, to have a punctured esophagus. I don't know if you know how bad that is, but you can basically just leach air from your intrathoracic cavity under your skin, and you just slowly lose intrathoracic pressure, and everything in your body stops working. Your lungs stop working, so you can no longer
breathe.
Yeah, you can no longer get any oxygen into your blood. It is, you can die in minutes with a punctured esophagus.
Damn.
I don't know if you knew it was that severe, but
No, I mean, I've always known I didn't want to experience it.
Yeah,
but
not good. But when I
just
saw
assume
this,
I will die.
like, my level of alertness was like, I need to
shit.
fucking do something now.
Yeah.
Give me some fucking forceps.
Good.
I'm going in.
Yeah, man. I knew you'd be that.
So, but it's really infantile compared to like someone showing up with no legs. But it was still,
That's easy to deal with.
yeah.
You can't make them new legs right then.
It's
so.
bilateral tourniquets, and you would start IV fluids, but really they need blood. They need blood.
Right. So you slit your wrist, you bleed in their mouth.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works.
It's so funny, man. With trauma, it is quite complex, but if they've lost blood, you know how to make them better? You give them some blood. You give them some blood.
You get their flavor and you put it in there.
Or you just get the most acceptable. You give them Coca-Cola blood. You give them the most universally available blood. Word. Some O-neg.
Give them that O-neg.
Give them that O-neg. You're the universal acceptor. You can take any blood. Yeah. So they wouldn't have to cross match nothing with you, man.
I know, man. I'm just a survivor.
What are you, AB what?
Negative.
Oh, well, you really are. Like, you can take anything, right? Can you take AB neg?
Or
well, no, you have
is it the positive that can take positive or negative, or is it negative that can take positive and negative?
I think it's the positive.
Yeah, I am leaning. I think I can take any negative.
I think so. Yeah, but
I'd be given platelets though.
Good, man.
I got
good.
Those good platelets.
Yeah, but my point was, trauma is it's serious. You got to make quick decisions. Sometimes the answer is quite easy. They probably need blood. If it's a car accident and they've experienced some sort of trauma, like you suspect a pelvic fracture, like they can't fucking walk, or they're, you see massive swelling around their femur or something crazy. They're probably bleeding internally. They probably need some blood. And they probably need urgent surgical care they need a surgical team to go in and stop the blood. Yeah. Like ligate a fucking artery that's causing them to bleed out, and you give them blood while that's going on. You're transfusing them during fucking surgery. So it's hard, but sometimes it's pretty easy. But yeah, that fucking pot roast bone I was like, forceps, stat, light source, go on then. It wasn't that cheesy, but it was like,
forehead sweat. Need a rag.
Yeah.
Dab me.
Yeah. I don't think that the people there thought it was that serious. Like, it's an unusual injury, even for someone that works in the back of an ambulance all the time to deal with. They're more apt to deal with a gunshot wound or a stab or fucking heart attack or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just something they're like, oh, this guy's got a pot roast bone in his throat. Not thinking of, like, if his esophagus ruptures, it's a bad fucking day, man. Like, It goes from good to fucking worse.
From good to worse.
Good to worse. Good to worser. Good to worsest.
Good to worsest for this situation.
Very quickly. But
what if we nuke the moon?
Yeah. That's our next topic.
No. Sorry, I just looked down and saw that.
Yeah. Is that
It's on YouTube, a video.
a Bill Gates idea, I'm assuming?
I have. It's just a video. That's the name of it. What
This
if we
is
nuke the moon?
Stop the tides.
God, yeah. I mean,
dude, Neil deGrasse broke down the tides pretty well
shit
too.
would fuck up.
Yeah. Did you listen to that part of it?
No,
Okay, good.
no. I had enough of his
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Turn that shit off, arrogant motherfucker.
Yeah, and
you
then
arrogant scientist.
Went looking for the Q drops.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like, what's new?
that's what's.
I
real.
want the truth.
Yeah, you're all about the truth, man. So no, it was a good experience overall. I guess I got tested a bit, and I got to do some cool procedures. I also did something called trepanation.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with that term?
No.
I'm about to tell you what it is.
Sweet. Tell
It's
me
really
about it.
just drilling into something, but the way I did it was with a hot paper clip. So this guy somehow developed what's called a subungual hematoma, which is just bleeding under his toenail. And it can be very fucking painful. It can develop a ton of pressure there, and it can also kill the nail matrix and just cause the fucking toenail to die. He'd live, but it'd just be incredibly painful, and then his toenail would fall off. So in order to prevent that, you can do this trepanation procedure where you heat up a hot paper clip and touch it to the nail and release the pressure. Or you can take something and slowly fucking whittle it down until you get through the nail.
So when you heat it up, it just goes straight through?
Yep.
So these are plastic.
Basically.
Okay.
It took a few times doing it. Like, it wasn't an instant thing. But and you got to get it hot as fuck, dude. You got to just keep it under a lighter and until it's like orange, just glowing. But yeah, it goes through, and it doesn't feel good when it first goes through. But then it's like having a mini orgasm. It was like, yeah, it was a release.
I bet.
Whoa!
This pain's just leaving me.
Yeah,
It's great.
and you literally just kind of milk the blood out of it, and you just keep it like that. I might have put a little gauze and a little bandage on it just so it'd kind of soak up the remaining material, but you're not really worried about infection that much in that case. It's not a huge deal. Probably be fine because it's just going to scab over that tiny little section of the toenail. But yeah, I got to do cool stuff, and I got to show medics a lot of injections. They like learning, hands-on things that they can do.
Yeah.
And it's a very, like, once they learn it, it's a simple procedure. But they taught me a lot of shit too, like a lot of trauma medicine shit that I don't normally deal with. It was good, man.
They've been doing their learning out in the world.
Yeah. And
Do they work on like ambulances and shit in their day-to-day life?
Most of them do. So it just translates so well.
Yeah.
Like, and they have a little more capabilities. Even in the back of an ambulance, there's certain things they have that we don't have out in the field. But there's certain things we do have. Like, they had to learn a lot more about medications because we were prescribing shit every day. So I got a lot of medication questions, and you just get drilled with enough pharmacology. Like, and if I had a question about a drug class, I would just look it up. But once I looked it up, I'm like, I know exactly what this is and what the side effects are. So it wasn't that bad, but I had to teach a bit of pharm. But yeah, dude, it translates really well when they're a civilian EMT or a paramedic or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they do the shit every day.
Yeah,
But-
that's cool.
Yeah.
You've been getting the like formal education.
Yeah.
And they've been getting the screets.
Yeah. And they know the streets well, man.
Yeah.
And there was kind of a learning curve at first, but I didn't go in assuming, I feel like I'm a pretty humble dude.
Yeah.
So I went in, and if I didn't know something, I'm like, man, I don't fuck with this. Like, I don't know what I'm like. Just tell me, and I'll
Dude,
know
that
what to
is
look for.
The best way to go about everything in life. Jesus Christ.
But they liked me for that.
Yeah.
But when they didn't know
That's-
something, I didn't fucking judge them. I'm
that's-
like, this is how it is.
That's what works best.
Yeah.
That's why we have to just be who the fuck we are.
Be who we are, man.
That's right.
Be Tim Dillon.
Yeah, here's a comment from Justin Calandro.
Nice.
Says, you're the shit, bro. That's your introduction. As soon as someone meets you, you cannot just, okay, you cannot not love you. I mean it, buddy. You're awesome. That was on the last
This is
episode.
fan love, man.
Fuck yeah.
Fan.
I appreciate it. Hey, man. One works.
Yeah, there's no, yeah, we don't promote this fucking thing. This is the most homegrown shit you can imagine.
Yeah. But we're gonna.
It's at home.
I don't. There are ways we can do it, and I think if people get to know who we are, then they'll be interested in what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's just right now, people don't know who the fuck we are. So
Yeah.
we're gonna host
A barbecue? What are we
a
doing?
fucking barbecue,
Yeah.
a keg party.
At this address.
Yeah. Yeah, we can shoot an episode here.
Yeah.
We could.
Do
we could sponsor shit, but nobody would want us to sponsor them.
yeah, do a live show.
We could sponsor a little league team.
That'd be good, man. Oh my God.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. What else you have, man? I know we need
I'm
to
sorry.
wrap soon. No,
Well, how long have we been going?
a little over an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
It flew by.
A lot of that was military talk, man. If you
Yeah,
have
but it was good.
If
man.
you have one or two things, we don't have to blow by them.
I've got some things.
All right.
All right, these are thoughts I had when I was sleeping last night. And I woke up and I'm like, damn it, I'm writing this shit down.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna quit letting these things go. One of them was, and this shit just pops in. It's maybe you're not good enough. Is like the thought.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're not good enough, and then immediately after that, if you know you're not, you never will be.
Ooh. That's deep, man.
Yeah, but I mean, this is just what pops in. You know, it's like that's not bad. I'm
Yeah.
gonna write that one down.
Nice.
And there were what brought on that thought in particular. I remember now is our conversation and this podcast. Maybe not, being what we want it to be.
Sure.
And I was like, fuck, maybe this isn't right. Maybe this isn't our thing. And then if you know you're not good enough to do this, then you're definitely fucking not.
Never gonna be.
Yeah, it's
its own.
It's what I fucking needed.
It's its own self-fulfilling thing, man.
Yeah. Because I do feel like we're both likable people, and Justin Calandro.
Can see that.
Yeah, he just fucking he told me what I was telling you and trying to convince myself of.
Yeah.
Really, I mean,
Yeah.
we are likable people, and we've made friends anywhere we've ever gone.
Absolutely, dude.
So I do believe that we can gradually build a following here. Who gives a fuck if we're at 42 right now?
Yeah.
And we may not be to 43 for another couple weeks.
Some of it is. I don't want to disrail you too much, man. Is that a word?
Derail.
I'm gonna disrail you here.
All right, we're disrailing
All
up
right,
in here.
disrailing. Some of it, I want to get our fucking theme song set. That just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I want to get this. I guess people think we're lying
About the painting.
about the artwork that we've commissioned. I really did.
Yeah, he really did. He
It's
paid
half,
money.
It's half paid for. I'm gonna get it. I knew it'd be a long project, and this guy is a professional artiste, and he has a lot of other stuff, and I'm not in his ear every day saying, "Hey, man."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send him a courtesy thing, and no big deal, man. We'll get it. The other thing is, speaking of that, merch, man. Like,
Oh, yeah.
if we start wearing merch and just pour capital in, pour some of that AMC in. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, as soon as
No.
I pour it out. I'll pour it in.
I want to actually come up with designs, or you come up with designs, and me just say, that looks good, man.
Okay.
And I'll throw you a couple ideas, throw you some bones. I want to make that real.
Oh,
I want to
yeah,
make merch real. Whatever we need to do, drop ship it or fuck. I mean, I don't want to print sweatshirts in the next room. I guess we could.
Oh, God. No.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, we won't do that.
But I don't mind buying shit in bulk too. If we have to buy thousands of dollars of shit and just sit on it and slowly sell it, I'm very okay with that.
Yeah.
And maybe we can do a double take on the social media side, and I can be a tad more involved, or just create a new social media, or whatever, wherever we want to promote it from. I intentionally have done a terrible job there because I only wanted certain outreach, but it's like you kind of got to pick one or the other.
Yeah. Dude, this shit has made it to everybody I didn't want it to.
Really?
Yeah, like in my own life.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it has for me too.
Yeah. I mean, somebody knows you, like, dude, you see this shit? What is all this shit?
Yeah.
And then like, oh, fuck, he's really insulting the fuck out of my belief.
That's good. Yeah.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Like, I am going to pull back on some of that shit. Some of my language has been a bit aggressive when it comes to Christianity. It's like, I don't believe it, but what I do believe is equally crazy.
I've listened to myself in those conversations, and I kind of always take I don't think it's politically correct. It's actually how I feel. It's like I always come back to, I'm very sympathetic to those views. And I am. Like
I know. No, I know.
I get it.
You do see the value in it.
Yeah.
And I just find ways of making fun.
Yeah. Well, we got to keep it lighthearted.
I know.
But yeah,
and
some people take it as an attack on
I know. And I don't
their
want anybody
soul.
to. Yeah. I'm not trying to insult anybody.
Yeah.
And some of my friends
or
have
like
told me, like, yeah, I turned
what's
that
wrong?
one off.
You don't like me anymore?
No, it wasn't like that.
Okay.
They know how I feel about everything.
Yeah.
It's just
They don't like to hear it expressed in certain ways, and it makes
yeah,
sense.
I mean, I can be a bit
too
much.
I even hear it, and even some of the things I say, because I don't have those views, but I'm still like, if I did, I might not want to hear it framed that way. Like, I feel like probably some of our friends don't listen
For sure.
because of some of the content.
Yeah.
They're like, until they do different stuff.
Without a doubt.
Like, Trey framed this as a religious show. He's like, yeah, just talk about religion, man. Y'all just shit on Christianity. He's like, I'm not even into that, but that's kind of what y'all do. I want it to be other things. I want it to be medical shit. I've talked about a lot of military stuff. I don't think I'm giving away too much information. I mean, it's all fairly general.
Not at all.
Not using names or...
Yeah. No, it's just good stuff. We don't have to harp on religion and shit, but one thing to remember, and I have to constantly remind myself, is like, as good as I feel like we've done on this episode, we're going to look back on this and be like, that was shit.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And we're going to get better. We're going to constantly get better.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And, we've talked about religion too much, obviously.
Fine.
But,
It's fine. There's other
you
topics.
know, we're gonna harp on aliens too much too, and then Trey can say all y'all talk about is fucking
And
aliens.
stocks.
So, yeah, who gives a fuck about AMC?
And military stuff and medical stuff.
Yeah.
And the things that we are familiar with. But we're also, we're thinking about, and I think we should take the book report approach a bit
I do like
more
that.
serious.
I mean,
And
we-
educate ourselves, even on shit. Like, there's probably going to be books that I recommend to you, which they're all great. But,
Trust
yeah. But there's probably going to be books that we recommend to each other where, you know, it may not be the first thing that pops into your head is like, this is going to be a fucking page turner.
Yeah.
But just getting introduced to any fucking new ideas, anything, even if it's something it wouldn't be your first take on or something you disagree with. Just I'm down to fucking. I will read the Quran with you, dude.
Yeah. No,
and we can read it in a weekend. It's that short.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to, but I will.
Yeah, I don't want to either.
Yeah, let's just come back
We
and
can.
talk about the Quran, and then we'll burn one on set. No, I'm kidding. That's how we lose.
Draw a caricature of
Oh my
Muhammad.
God, man, we'll lose everyone. No, we may get some supporters actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot more Trump supporters.
That's all right.
Yeah. But no, man, finish your thoughts, dude. I'm not rushing you. I don't want to totally derail you.
No, you're fine. There was just that's about it on that thought. Was maybe you're not good enough. If you know you're not, you never will be. And I don't. Some people maybe aren't good enough to do what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know who those people are.
And you gotta fucking try it.
Yeah. Like, how the fuck can you really know?
You gotta try it. It's
I don't know. You fail when you fucking quit, man.
Sometimes it probably.
I don't want. Yeah, for some people you should quit. Like,
yeah.
I can play the guitar, but I am not a guitar player. Like, I will never be known as a guitar player. I know that.
Through this show, you could be, man.
Well, yeah, I
if
mean,
you keep coming out with hits like fucking Wavy Arm Man.
Yeah, wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Yeah. Well,
you're gonna blow up overnight.
There are certain things I know I'm not gonna be, and I see that. I would love to be that fucking guitar player, but my hand doesn't listen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, dude, you're not going where I'm telling you to go. It's just not there. Dude, I would love for it to be, but it's not.
You could be TikTok famous so fast, dude.
With that song?
Yep.
Okay.
On Parker's TikTok, like I could send that to him fucking tonight, dude.
All right.
And he's gonna. I'll say even on a bad Parker TikTok, 5,000 people are gonna see it. That's his social media outreach. If it's a good one, 100,000 will.
That's crazy.
If it's ungodly, he has 2 videos that have gone viral. One of them's almost at 2 million, and one of them's right at 1 million views.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah. But that's, a 20-year-old's social media outreach from nowhere land. Just because he follows the right people. And he knows how to name things to propel them to the For You page so that it's seen by the TikTok sphere.
You put the right hashtags on them.
Yep. It's got to be something, that's topical and relatable, and some of it's cheesy, but he knows how to fucking
That's
get
cool,
it there.
man. Maybe he needs to run our shit. He can do our social media.
Man, if I started paying him and holding him accountable, then he could.
Man, I'm not against it.
Yeah. I want to say one more thing about your comment, though. Those thoughts, man, that you had, I told you about a similar one I had, like while I was, at the fucking troop medical clinic with proficient providers.
Yeah.
And one of them was like, hey, I think you're wrong on this. Mm-hmm. And then my brain immediately went to, dude, you're not a medical provider. Who the fuck are you? You need to get out of here. Like, why are you here? But then this other little birdie, which is really just another thought, right? It wasn't me. Like, the problem is identifying with that thought, calling that thought me, the first one.
Right.
Like, you're a piece of shit, dude. Yeah. You think you know what fucking scabies is?
Right.
But then the second thought going, dude, you haven't killed anyone. Who gives a fuck if you treat them for scabies and it's not scabies?
Yeah.
What's going to happen, dude, if you treat them for a disease they don't have with a medication that doesn't have that large of a side effect profile? They don't want to take it forever, but
yeah,
it was a fucking topical medication.
Yeah, and it's an attempt at helping them.
Yeah.
So it's not like a totally impossible prognosis.
The problem is, and I have been so unsuccessful at slicing through that fucking illusion of that first thought being synonymous with this is me.
Yeah.
I'm this piece of shit thought. This isn't just a thought. This is who I am as a human. This is what I most identify with in the fucking world is this terrible fucking thought.
Yeah.
And it brings you down so fucking fast. But that second thought, like having that one sneak in there, I didn't plan it.
Yeah.
It just fucking, it happened. I'm mindful enough where I had, I guess I've conditioned myself a bit with mindfulness to go, dude,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I haven't always been able to do that, man.
Yeah.
That was a rare one. But that's what that is. That's like being identified with that first thought. Not necessary, man. The second
Just your
thought,
higher self, man.
the first or the second?
The second.
Yeah, the second one.
That's your higher self.
right. That's just another frequency.
Yeah.
Dude, Michael Pollan talks about that fucking radio frequency
Really?
consciousness theory.
Cool.
Uh,
That's awesome.
you
I
know.
talked about it on 12.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know. But
knew
it
you-
like toward the end of episode 12, I'm in my head talking about maybe we're tapping into something.
You'll like this. You're going to like the way you look, I guarantee it. There was this, I think it was like a neuroscientist talking to the Dalai Lama. It wasn't Sam Harris, but it was another one, a good one. And they said something about basically synonymous with consciousness, seeing consciousness through the lens of a materialist. Like consciousness is what the brain shows you, sort of thing. And the Dalai Lama said something along the lines of, that's a very nice hypothesis. Like that was to this neuroscientist, to the guy that studied this shit forever. He's like, that's an interesting idea.
Right.
Yeah. And I thought you would find that nice. I liked it actually. I'm like, it wasn't arrogant. It was just like, all right.
Yeah.
What about these other ones, man? Yeah, that's where he was going with it. But thought you'd find that helpful. All right, dude. I'm fucking you up. This caffeine,
fucking me
I
up.
think, got me.
Good.
It propelled me.
And conversation.
Yeah.
I think there's something to that too.
What do you mean?
Interaction.
Yeah.
I think that can spark some energy,
Sure.
and ideas, and we've always fed off each other's energy. Maybe more now.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I had some other thoughts, but the first thing I wrote down was I was picturing like a news story, the way our world is. And it says, "Trust me, it totally happened. We're the freaking news."
Oh, yeah.
And that's just how everything is. It's like it's on the news,
Yeah.
man. They're talking about it on the news, and it made me think about how news used to be a little different. Like they would cover a few different things.
Yeah.
And they built trust by covering. And in anything where you build trust, you start out by building trust. Eventually, the positions, the people in powerful positions, those are going to change. The people will change. The position will still be there. Some people will get into that position and exploit the trust that they've built in anything.
Yep.
Like I'm using the news as an example. But like any position where you've built trust of like a lot of people. Priests might even do this with like little boys. I don't know. Maybe it works the same way.
Oh, dear God.
That's the priest. That's a good man.
Yeah.
We all trust him.
Right.
He's not going to fondle my little boy.
It's not going to happen.
You know, it started out, I'm sure there weren't a bunch of fucking perverts.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there are a bunch.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's happened for sure,
Yeah.
though.
Well, there's also
Same thing with Boy Scouts. You've had the same deal. Any trusted position is gonna be exploited at some point.
Some of that is, I don't know. We don't have to delve into it, but there's so many other, like the commitment to celibacy, and you can't even touch yourself, and they can't get married, and there's so many things that are stacking against those poor priests. Which
I know, but
how it could drive them to, that point is still like hard for me to see, but I can see like things stacking up against their favor.
Yeah.
In those particular instances, and it's all wrapped up in just weird religious shit. To me, the parts that we probably shouldn't focus on.
Yeah, for sure.
It's okay for priests to fuck people that aren't little boys. Yeah,
right.
Like consensual,
consenting adults. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why the fuck can't this guy be a scholar in his belief and also fuck sometimes?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a part of this life. It's the best part of this life.
It's a good part. It's a good part. Yeah, the news, man, is just...
the news, I don't trust any news really anymore. Yeah, not that I don't trust it. I just don't give a fuck what they have to say anymore.
I have found it helpful, literally, man, just to see headlines of major events, and some of them I can suss out immediately what is a major headline. A building collapsing in Florida and there being 156 missing people. To me, I was like, no matter who's reporting it, this happened.
Yeah.
Like that was one where I'm like, I know what happened.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's some, like I heard.
Oh, God, there's probably some crazy.
There was crazy
shit
shit about. There was someone in the left-leaning media that was like, this is because Republicans don't support better infrastructure plans.
What?
Yeah. That's why the building collapsed. Yeah. It's because they don't want to, put whatever tens of trillions toward infrastructure, and these people are dead. Like it turned into that kind of like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin your night, but
nah, dude, it's just,
but it's crazy.
Everything is used.
But I can see a headline now, like the one I described, and there are others where I'm like, all right, that's a legitimate. There's a fucking tsunami or whatever, or something terrible happened across the globe. That's a story to me, not who, is angry on Twitter. Like it's so easy for me to suss out, or like this potential person is a racist. Maybe, but I'm dependent on fucking your opinion of that, and something they said in the past. I don't know. That shit I don't trust.
No.
So it's, the news is tricky, man. I feel my mental health is so much better because I just don't fuck with the news like I used to.
Yeah.
I used to really just sit there and fucking watch it and flip between, opposing ideologies and try to suss out what I thought made the most sense. I don't even like doing that, man, because it's just so much bullshit. It's so hard to contend with.
Yeah.
I would rather just read a few things and I kind of have an idea. That's all I need. I don't need to spend hours watching or listening to fucking news.
Yeah. Some of the houses I work in, they just watch nothing but the news.
Yeah. Their news.
Their news. Yeah. And
it's really sod.
There's never it's very sod.
It's sod.
There's never a huge variety of topics.
Yeah.
It's always the same shit.
Yeah. Culture wars.
And we're
so
just
funny, man. I love the culture wars.
Yeah.
Who's mad that day? Anyway, man, we could do a whole fucking podcast on that.
All right. I had one last
fucking
thought.
Do it.
That let me see. Oh, more of an observation, but I mean, it did come to me. People as a whole, like with social media and shit, they have much louder voices.
Word.
And I was trying to maybe find some I don't know what all these people have in common, and I know I'm not right. But one thing. It's like the whole, like the typical family dynamic
Yeah.
has completely changed. Like a household used to be like a family,
Yeah.
and that's not the case anymore.
Yeah,
not like it used to be.
Yeah.
Like the whole like Leave It to Beaver type shit.
Yeah.
I think I said Bieber.
Leave it to Bieber. I would leave it to
Dude,
Bieber.
he's replaced Beaver Cleaver.
Yep.
But
Leave it to Bieber, man.
well, that whole idea, and I'm not saying like man woman kind of shit. I'm just saying like the structure, the like being home at a certain time, and you go to bed at this fucking time,
Yeah.
and like conversations with your family. I feel like people are more tapped into the outside world than their own world.
Yeah.
And that has fucked shit up.
That is a fucking insight, man. That is the case. And the funny thing is, when you care more about the world on the inside of your little family bubble, you're typically happier, unless it's like a fucking toxic thing. Maybe you don't want to focus on it. But in a typical case where it's not abusive.
Yeah, well, when you tend to it, when you actually take care of what's going on in your little world, and everyone else does the same thing, we all interact in better ways.
Yeah.
It's like you don't be fucking rude to people. Don't, be courteous. You teach your people that, and then they go out in the world and they've been taught the same shit. I don't know.
No, dude, there's so many points there, but
I'm not. I don't know how you would even go about, changing any of this. Like I even started out like everyone is single. There's a buffet of options online, and maybe that has sort of fucked with the typical family dynamic.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not limited to you.
Right.
There's all these options.
Oh my God, man. That's that's fucked with interactions in general, because now in the dating sphere, dude, you do have the thought in your mind, like there are, 4 billion. I have 4, well, I guess on the, you and I probably have 2 billion potential mates.
Yeah.
On this planet.
Yeah.
Just on Earth. Just in
That's
Earth.
just within this dimension.
Yeah. Just in this one, man. Just in this crazy dimension. Holy shit, dude. And then you start to, you whittle down some of your preferences. And realistically, dude, statistically, I'll throw out a random number. You and I are probably compatible to a large degree with 100 million people each. Like at a minimum, I would think. There's probably 100 million people that are like in our sphere enough that meet enough of our preferences that could be our potential person forever.
Right.
Used to, man, you were limited by fucking geography.
Yeah.
And walk it back a few hundred years before automobiles were everywhere.
Yeah, dude.
Man, a fucking
Very
mountain
small
range.
town, man.
Yeah, like a town in a fucking valley. Like it was difficult to.
Yeah, like hopefully they're not your cousin.
Yeah, you couldn't date someone.
Good luck.
Fucking 10 miles away because it's hard. It's difficult to get there.
Yeah.
So it really it's awesome in a way, but yeah, everyone. It also makes it harder to tolerate the people you're with.
Yeah.
Because you're like, fuck, I have 100 million other yous out there.
Yeah.
And why do I need to fucking,
why would I work on this when I could just go get another you?
Why would I try to make this better?
Yeah.
Why would I let it, disrupt my fucking day? There are some problems there, like with that mentality. And it's preventing family units And it doesn't have to be the traditional man-woman, or they could be co-contributors.
Right. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of ways this could work.
Yeah.
If it's just that
it's less
I
and less
think it's
of a thing.
just there are options.
Even
there are
in-
so many options. People aren't settling down and moving on to the next part of life. It
Yeah.
just feels like we're stuck in the hunt.
Yeah.
And not getting to that part where like, okay, now I'll build this. I'll build these people.
Right.
Because I already made this. Like, move on to these kids.
Even in the South, where that culture remains more so than in other places in the country, the South's got their own issues. Like, we're dumb as a whole.
Oh, yeah. And I've noticed, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
I've noticed that there are, like, still families that put way more value on their sons than they do their daughters.
Yeah, God.
And that is weird as shit, but that's a fucking thing.
I know, or they're sad when their daughters are born.
Fucking terrible, dude.
Because they think there are limitations there.
But yeah, you keep going. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. No, it's another excellent point, Matthew. Yeah. No, man, it's definitely a problem. So much of it goes back to fucking social media, man. And you feel like I am kind of disconnected from that world, but I also am so independent and isolated that, I don't really have that structure in my own life of like a family unit in any real way. I mean, I associate with my family, but not particularly close with any of them, or not on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean,
But I also don't associate with the outside world that much. I've kind of cut myself off there, and you feel disconnected in weird ways because I never know when anything happens. And if I don't remember it, then I'm like a shitty person because I didn't remember this birthday or this anniversary or this event.
That shit doesn't matter.
And it just kind of comes and goes, and it's there's definitely some benefits to not being in that realm, but yeah, you lose that connectedness if that's all you have, And in some cases, I don't have much else.
Yeah.
I see you every few months now.
Well, it'll be more now,
yeah,
for sure.
It will, for sure. But no, families are good, man.
Yeah, it's. I ended that with settling down has become less and less common. Settling down is the part.
Yeah.
That I think. Yeah. The louder voices is because nobody's settled down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I got.
No, you're good, man. Those are good thoughts, man.
Up.
I may start.
That's something to do, man.
Fucking
I'm doing that
journaling.
shit. I'm gonna keep that shit next to my bed now.
We'll do a segment. Dude, what if we started putting in fucking music and like not just the intro outro, but like theme shit?
Yeah, I mean that. I'm down. We can do it. It's it probably won't happen on this one.
No,
because this one, this one's supposed to be uploaded in 26 minutes, but it's not gonna be.
Yeah. Oh, you got it, dude. Yeah, we're at the tits. Yeah. We're at the tits end of this
got
one,
it.
As they say.
Edit this one, but I probably won't be going too hard on the editing.
Yeah.
In this one, but yeah, dude, we can break it up, or if I decide I'm emotional sometime and I get teary.
Yeah.
Then we can put some sad music over that.
Nice.
We go deep on something.
Yeah.
Play something deep.
Deep.
Yeah, like the
And
wacky
meaningful.
waving inflatable arm flailing kid, man.
Yes, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's some original shit.
Oh my God. Dude. Yeah, I think you underestimate how quickly you would go viral. I've seen so much worse things on YouTube
Okay,
that
that's
that
good,
come
dude.
across my feed, and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather fucking drill my temples right now. Yours, it was so uplifting, man. Yeah, yeah. You need to drop a link.
Drop a link.
Drop it. Click below. Click this way.
I'll just put it in the video.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Like an act. Can you put a link? Right,
No,
right here.
I mean, yeah, I could do that, but I mean, I'll put the video in the episode.
Oh, okay.
Put my music video.
Oh,
in
like
the
just
episode.
anywhere, like right here.
Yeah. Yes.
On a wacky, waving, inflatable, flailing two-man. Wacky, waving, inflatable, I'm flailing two-man. On a wacky, waving, inflatable, I'm flailing two-man. On a wacky waving, inflatable, I'm flailing two-man. A wacky waving, inflatable, I'm flailing two-man. A wacky waving, inflatable, I'm flailing two-man. On a wacky waving, inflatable, I'm flailing two-man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
And we're back.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
it'll be
really
there.
good. All right. Well, just keep that in mind. They got to make it really far to get to it.
Yep. You got to earn that one.
All right, dude. Anything else, man? There's still a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, this felt good. Glad to have you back.
Mustache out.
Mustache out. Boy.